Hi, welcome back everybody. Welcome back to Wool and Fabric Making. If you are returning, if you're new, thanks for being here. My name is Nicole. I believe this is episode 6 or 7. I've lost track, but I was gone last week, so we missed an episode last week, but I'll tell you a little more about why here in a bit. We were doing some traveling, which was fun. But for today, I wanted to jump back in, and I had mentioned previously about possibly doing like a Christmas in July episode. And so in the hopes to really get my act together, I am trying to kick off my holiday knitting now. So it is July 2026. It's like the middle of July, like the 18th or 19th or something. 18th? I don't know, whatever. It's the middle of July. And I am really working to get in front of my holiday making. I tend to have a habit where I'm like, oh, it's Thanksgiving. Let me make everybody presents. And then of course that's an epic fail. And then I'm really like frustrated with myself for not planning better. So, part of this YouTube channel was to also like keep myself accountable and try to prepare better, all of these things. So this is something I'm like actively working on. And so I figured today we would talk about our Christmas plans, holiday plans for gifts that I'm trying to make by Christmas. So I have, about 6 months to go ish. So in theory, that should be enough time to get these done. There's one that I'm a little on the fence about. I don't know 100% if that one will get done. So that's like the only one, but I do feel pretty confident with the rest of these that I can get them done in time. So I've actually got 2 that are already done, which like pretty impressive. So yeah, welcome back if y'all are returning. I was out last week. We actually were able to take a trip up to Ohio to visit our family in Ohio. We're just had such a great time up there, and we got to spend time with everybody and really like have a nice, calm, thoughtful, great experience with our family out there. It was really nice. So yeah. It was great. And there's probably a lot more to say about that. But in general, like, we just had such a nice time. It was really life-giving, I think, for all of us. And so that's where I was last weekend. So, didn't record, wanted to obviously be with my family and just spend time with them. So, no recording. And I think it's really important to like step away from things when you need to really be invested in the time that you're spending with others. So, they are some of the people who are going to be receiving some of these gifts. So, yeah, exciting. I will not name names, except for maybe one, because I'm pretty positive he doesn't watch this. So, he's actually admitted to me, like, yeah, it was long, so I just skip over it, and that's my dad. I don't blame him. He's like, yeah, sorry, it was really long. I just kind of skipped over it. I was like, okay, Dad, well, thanks for at least going to the site. So we'll talk a little bit about his gift that I'm trying to make and see how that goes. That's the one that I'm on the fence about because it's a big task. So let's jump into Christmas in July. I think for today's format, I'm going to start with the Christmas gifts and the planning and all of the different yarns and different things I'm going to be making. And then at the end, I'll talk a little bit, I'll give you an update on my spinning. So Tour de Fleece, I'll give you an update on 2 finished objects, which are part of the Christmas things. So maybe actually they'll be in the Christmas part. And then I will give you an update on a new book that I got while I was actually traveling back from Ohio. There was a bookstore in the airport and my Kindle died. So I was like looking for something to read on the plane. And so I found this really interesting book. So I'll share that too. Yeah, so let's jump in. I suspect this is going to take a bit. So we're just going to get going. So let's start with the first finished object. So this is a cowl that I finished recently. It is made with Berroco, like super alpaca or something. It's their really thick, chunky Alpaca. It's just a simple ribbed cowl. I believe the pattern was a free pattern, and I don't remember. I don't remember the pattern because it was like online somewhere, and I didn't write it down. I made this very quickly. But I bought this yarn, and the yarn is incredibly soft. It is so soft. I will track down the name of the yarn because I do have it written down, the yarn somewhere, like the tag. But this is just a simple navy blue cowl. I don't know if you can see the coloring on it. Oh, I should warn you. The coloring and the lighting today is weird. So, we live in Arizona. It's a desert, but we do get monsoon season, which sounds crazy, but it's the real thing. So today is very gloomy and cloudy outside. We've had a lot of storms and such. So if the light is weird or it feels a little blue, that's why. Is what it is. Mother Nature. What are you gonna do? So anyway, this is a navy blue cowl. It's very cool. I think it was like a 3x1 rib. So it's just three knit stitches and then one purl. You could actually turn this inside out too and do like something a little more, more of a statement piece as well. But I wanted something that was like very simple to use and wear. I didn't want to do a big scarf that like could get wrapped over and all that. So this is just a simple cowl. And like I said, I won't name who these things are for because they're obviously Christmas gifts, but yeah, I just thought this was really pretty. And like I said, it's ridiculously soft. It's 100% alpaca, and it is like, I mean, it's so nice. So that's the first Christmas gift. That is done. I'm very proud of that. It's very done. It's very nice. Looks great. I guess I could put it on. See if I can get over the headphones. I probably just made so much noise. Yeah. So I'm not modeling this well. Anyway, assuming you're not wearing headphones, this would be great. So it's just very simple cowl, very soft, very nice. So I'm going to attempt to take this back off, but I'm going to take the headphones off first. 1 second. Depending on how loud that is, we might edit that out. See. Anyway, so yeah, I'm very excited about this. This is, I wanted something that was really easy to wear, but very soft and cozy, and something that would just be like a nice little hug around your neck. So that's item number 1. The second finished item I have, I actually cranked this on, a knitting machine. So if you've ever seen these, this is the Centro knitting machine. Let me try not to drop it. This is that. So I believe you can buy these like on Amazon or something. I don't know. We live, our city has these like auction houses where they kind of sell stuff that's been like, slightly damaged, or they have surplus, or I don't know. I don't know how this stuff comes to these places, but we have a couple of them in town. And so randomly I found that Centro knitting machine, which is typically like, I think they're like 50, 60 bucks online. So I got that one for like $5. So the caveat to that is the tensioner, this little tension piece that sort of sat like out here at the front of the machine, which helped tension the yarn as it feeds into this. It's broken. It is non-existent. It's gone. And which kind of almost makes it unusable. I've sort of rigged up a tensioner here at home for myself, so I can use it pretty easily. And it was like $5, and I don't care that it's kind of broken because it still works great for me. So, yeah. One thing you'll learn about me is I love a good deal. I will modify and work with whatever I can if it's a good deal. So what I did is I had a big cake of the Caron cakes that are like, kind of the color changing. It's a blown yarn, so it's got like a tube, and then they blow the fiber in. So this is a big, long scarf. So I cranked this on my Centro. I'll put up the specs of the yarn and the color, but this is the scarf. Now, the only thing I think I might do is here at the end, see how it kind of just bunches up, right? I actually love it, but what I think I'm going to do is to finish this off, I think I'm going to go somewhere, wherever I can find pom-poms, and get a couple of like medium-sized pom-poms. I don't have any yarn left, so I can't make it out of the yarn, but do like 2 medium-sized pom-poms on each end, and then have like a little pom-pom scarf, which is super cute. So it's very long. I used the whole cake for this, so still have like a fair bit, and then with like those little pom-poms, that'd be so cute. So yeah, I'm thinking like white pom-poms, or maybe like if I could find like lime green, you know? So be cute. Nice. So this is for somebody who's going to be in a very cold climate. So I think it'll be really nice for them. The yarn is beautiful. I love all the different colors of like green. There's like kind of hints of like turquoise and blue. I mean, I just think it's so pretty. And the fact that I did this in like, I want to say less than 3 hours, the whole thing. And it was an entire ball or like cake of yarn. Yeah. So I love that thing for this, for these big tube scarves. And they come out really like so nice. Now, the thing about the Centro is you have a set number of like tongs, right? So you can't do super lightweight yarn or super heavyweight yarn. It will get stuck. It will have a hard time. Or if you do lightweight yarn, it's going to come very loose and drapey, and that might not be what you want. So this typically needs to be like a DK-ish to maybe worsted weight yarn. Now, I'm going to show you another thing in a bit that I'm going to try, and it's a sport weight, and we'll see how it goes. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but we're going to try it. So anyway, this is item number 2. It's pretty much done, but I am going to add the pom-poms. So that'll be my second. That is my second finished Christmas gift. I'm very excited. I love this. I'm like tempted to buy a different color and make one for myself. Now, going back to some previous videos, if you've watched a lot of the other videos, you'll know that I have been obsessed with these bad boys. Okay, these are the unicorn tears and the Cosmo yarn this is from Purl yarns, and this is from Lana Grossa. So these are like bling bling yarns, which I love. And I'm obsessed. So I want to make shawls for 2 separate people. One will be this black and sequins, and the other one will be the pink sequins. So starting with the black, this is where I'm in a bit of a dilemma. So these are really pretty. I really like them. Now, I could wear this next to skin. It doesn't bother me, but I'm not sensitive to that stuff. So my only concern with this is like, as I give these as gifts, I don't think I want to put these right next to people's necks, because I'm not sure of their sensitivities. So my plan for this is to actually do a few yarns sort of mixed into like a shawl. I'm leaning towards more of a triangle shawl, you know, the standard triangle where you have the like a garter tab cast on, and then you're increasing both sides and down the center spine. So it's a pretty typical sort of triangle shawl. That is my thought. And my plan is for the portion that's kind of at the top, like the cast on edge, my plan is to do something really soft and cozy, and then start bringing in the sparkle later in the bottom of the triangle so that it pops, and it kind of is the part that sticks out, kind of not bunched up in your neck, but like out here kind of on your person, and also doesn't create like an itch factor for folks. That's the plan. Now, I I spent some time actually looking on Ravelry to find a pattern that would kind of give me that vibe. I was looking at the, what's it called? There's a pattern by Andrea Mowry where she kind of like stacks or color blocks like 3 different DK yarns, and they're very colorful. It's very like pastel, and I don't know, that could work, but like, I don't know, I'm not super excited about that specific one. My thought is actually I'm just gonna have to do it myself. That's where I'm at. I'm just gonna have to make it up as I go. I think that's gonna give me the results that I'm seeing in my head. So my plan is to start with more stockinette up at the top, or potentially some kind of brioche at the top, and then at the bottom either maintain that or switch it, right? So if I do stockinette at the top, change to the brioche and potentially use the sparkle in the brioche, or vice versa. I'm sure this doesn't make sense, and that's fine, but it'll make sense when you see it and when I figure it out. So to go with this black one, so starting here, to go with this black unicorn tears, I have a couple options here. So I went deep stash diving in my wall of yarn behind me, and I found a couple things. So I have this Juniper Moon Farm Cotton Merino Chic, which is cotton and 19 micron merino with a touch of sparkle. That's 50% cotton, 30% merino wool, and 20% polyester, 229 yards per 100 grams, and it's a worsted weight yarn. Now, this is super pretty. It's got this little bit of sparkle, this little bit of sheen in it, right? And like, would look really pretty. But I don't know if this is like too much sparkle. Like, is it too much? Could be, right? If you're trying to like sort of color block or something, maybe it's a lot. I don't know. So I also have a K&C Superwash Wool Luxe. This is back from before Joann was out of business. This I got, actually, I think I got like in their clearance days when they were just trying to get rid of everything. So this is a 100% superwash merino fine wool, 215 yards for 100 grams. They're calling it a sport weight. I mean, kind of it is, but it's a single ply yarn, and so it's like, it's very thick and thin. So you can kind of see like a little bit more, I don't know if you can see that, a little more there. Like, there's some parts that are thicker, and, you know, it could be a sport. It could border on a DK in some places. I don't know. I'm making this up as I go, so I don't think it matters. But this is really nice because it has a little bit of nuance in it. It's like black with like light charcoaly tones in it, so it's got some color variation. Plus, it is like so soft. It's a single ply. It is very, very soft. It is very luscious, and I'm really like, that's nice. So this could also be really good with this, and breaks it up a little bit in terms of like the color of just being like a stark black. So that's one option. The second option, actually third, because if you count that first sparkly one, that's the other one. So the other one I have is also a K&C, again, when they were going out of business, Joann. This is called Alpaca. It's 28% polyamide, 14% merino superwash wool, 58% baby alpaca. It's 164 yards for 50 grams. And they call it a worsted weight. So this is a, like, fluff, right? But not like it's like a heavy fluff, right? So it's got, like, if you look at it's very much a thicker fluff yarn. Now, this is alpaca and merino wool. So, like, again, the softness factor on this is like, yeah. So, now, this has less yardage than this. So I'm actually thinking, like, I could start with this at the neck. God, these are both so soft. I could start with this at the neck and do, like, the smaller triangle portion with this, and then bring this in, and then start doing the sparkle. These are all viable things, y'all. I don't know. Now, with the sparkle, I do plan to hold a cashmere fluff. So this is a Yarn Citizen Luxe Trinity Cashmere in the color Raven. And let's see, what's the composition of this? It's a lace weight. Okay, 49% Super Baby Alpaca, 39% Mulberry Silk, and 12% Cashmere. It's a 25-gram ball with 247 yards. So this is a beautiful cashmere. I got this at my local yarn shop. So if you have a local yarn shop that has this yarn, I highly recommend it. It might be available online. I don't know. Anyway, so this is like this cashmere. So these two I'll hold together, right? That'll be like the foundation for the sparkle. And then my dilemma now is deciding on like what yarns do I want to hold with it? Do I want to do a second sparkle? Like, is this too much sparkle? Don't know. So, you know, as the saying goes, I will swatch. I will swatch some stuff and see what I like. They're also pretty. And truthfully, because I'm kind of making it up as I go, I could just incorporate all of them. You know, the sparkle, this is probably the only one I'm on the fence about because I just don't know if it's too much sparkle. I really like the sequins. That's the star of the show. So I want it to really make this pop. So we'll see. We will see. But that is shawl number 1. Sparkle shawl number 1. That's what I'm going to call it. Okay. Now, the next one, sparkle shawl number 2, is with this Cosmo in this pink, right? This is stunning. Oh my god. So, I don't know if I showed y'all the little swatch I did of this. I might not have. I know that I posted it on Instagram, but I don't know if I brought it to the channel. So, just in case, let's start there. I had talked in an episode a while ago about trying to find this fluff yarn that had I thought at the time that it had more pink and stuff in it, and it would go really well. I then found it. This is called Wander Luck Fibers, and I'll put all the information on because this thing is wrapped up in the ball of yarn. But when I found this yarn, because this is the one I had been thinking about, it had less pink than I thought. And I was like, oh, maybe that's not going to work. And I was like, Nckole, swatch. Do a swatch. So this is the yarn. You can see like it's got some browns. It does have some pink in there. It's hard to see it because it's caked up right now, but there are like some very subtle pink tones in there. But I was like, okay, is this going to work? And then I did a little swatch just to like ease my own curiosity. And friends, let me tell you, it works. Oh boy, does it work. That's beautiful. It is so good. So, needless to say, those two yarns will be held together. They are gorgeous. This is stunning, and I'm a big fan. So that is that's the start of the show for Sparkle Shawl number 2. Now, let me show you some other yarns that I'm thinking about for those as well. So, when I say I went stash diving, y'all, I went like deep in the stash. There's 2 yarns in here that aren't even made anymore. That's how yeah. My yarn stash is a curated selection of old stuff. I've been collecting yarn. That's what I call it. I've been collecting yarn since I started knitting. And I've been knitting for actually since my oldest son was born. So 13 years. So this is like a wall of yarn and rooms of yarn that's 13 years in the making. So when I tell you I have some stuff that's old in here, I mean old. So for reference, going back, here's the swatch, okay? Now, I would love to have another fluff in here that's just a nice highlight. So this is Purl Soho Broom. They do not make this anymore. This is a base that I think has been discontinued for a couple years. Whatevs. So the makeup of this is 58% mohair, 25% wool, and 17% silk. It's 273 yards for 50 grams. Yeah. It's a heavy fluff. It's a fluff, but it's not, I don't know. I wouldn't call it a fingering. It's maybe like a sport. When it knits up, it's quite a bit, you know, it's chunky. It's a chunky fluff. So I don't know if you can, yeah. It's very pretty. It's a very nice, like light pink, soft pink color. Ooh, I didn't tell you guys the colors. Well, all those other ones were black. This color is apple blossom. Sorry, I'll put it in the notes or on the screen when I put the text up. So like this is really beautiful. I only have one skein left of this. I used it in another project a long time ago, and had one left over. Like I said, they don't make this anymore, so like I can't even find more of this or any other contrast colors to like try to do anything with it. So this would be a great way to do some stash busting and like hold it with this. I think that would be so pretty because these two yarns combined create this soft pink tone that I think would look so good with this fluff. And this would be so nice against your skin. So that's like one of the many options I've pulled here. So the other one, again, this is called Less Traveled Yarn. Now, Less Traveled Yarn was a dyer based out of somewhere in Arizona, I think Phoenix. She like retired out of yarn dyeing. She decided not to do it anymore. So she no longer exists as a company. She had some amazing colors though. I actually have several of her yarns and I am so hesitant to ever use her yarn because I'm like, I can never get this again. So she's got these like really moody, intense colors and I loved her style of dyeing. But she opted out. She decided to move on. So, you know, no fault of her own, of course. I'm sure there was a reason. So again, this has probably been discontinued. I mean, honestly, I feel like maybe even before COVID? Could be. Or maybe around COVID. So, like, it's been a minute. This has been living in my stash for, like, a while. So, this is called Spring Bouquet is the color. It is basically like a sock yarn. And it is 757 sock. So this is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 463 yards with merino from Argentina. So that's cool. So this is the yarn. Obviously there's tons of like cream and pinks. There's these speckles of like purpley dark colors. I mean, this is gorgeous. Like I love this and I could see this knit up just being gorgeous. And then this would be, you know, this could be like with that. And then with these, like, I mean, tell me that's not like gorgeous, y'all. I'm telling you. Now, is this too soft to go with this one? I don't know. Maybe, right? Like it is very, very soft. But I don't know. I think they could work really well together. So those are two of the first options. I'm pretty set on the extra fluff. I do really like that, and I do anticipate I'll use that one. It's really just about like what sort of base color do I want to go with next. So this is a fingering weight yarn. These other two are actually a heavier weight yarns, but I think are both really, really, really pretty. So these I would say are like a sport, yeah, probably like a sport. And I think they're both the same. Yeah, DK Sport. They're the same base. So the first one I found, which might go better with this, but then again, like, is that too soft, right? So bear with me. Okay, so this is Malabrigo yarn. And this is Arroyo, which is their DK Sport weight. It's approximately 335 yards for 100 grams. It's 100% superwash merino wool. This is like your standard super soft merino wool, super squishy, so beautiful, so soft. Love this yarn. I'm a big fan of Malabrigo yarns, and their dyeing is just exceptional. So the color on this is Rosalinda, which is so cute. It's no dye lots, but anyway. So they hand dye everything in like batches, but they don't really have dye lots because of how they dye. It's just like impossible for them to match dye lots. So you're kind of just winging it every time, which is great. So this has like mostly very subtle pinks, a little bit of like light tones. There's a couple little pops of like purple in here, like right in here. So this, I mean, this also looks so good with this, right? And also looks so good with this. Like, that's so pretty. These colors tie in so well together. So this is a great, I think this is a great base. But I have another one. There's one more. This is also the Arroyo blend or Arroyo yarn. This is the color Purl. So it's all the same makeup as what we just said, but this is the color Purl. Now, this is like a purpley mauve color and is also really pretty. Like, you almost can't see it, right? Like, it's like a purpley grayish mauve color, which again could bring out some of the coloring in here, because like this thing has, see how well those go together? But the pink from the sparkle yarn, like, does it eat up, does it highlight too much of this? I don't know, right? So like maybe that's not the best one. I'm kind of leaning towards like one of these, and I don't know. So I will swatch. I'm going to make that my tagline. So I'm going to swatch. And I will see. I love the less traveled yarn. I absolutely love it. But when I really look at all the colors together, I'm kind of leaning towards the Malabrigo Arroyo. I just think it's going to be beautiful because this yarn is so pretty with these colors. Like, that is so pretty. So we'll see. I will still swatch with these just to see what happens. I do wonder like if this is going to have a little too high contrast and like pull away from this. So we're going to see. But that is Sparkle Shawl number 2. So that is the second sparkly shawl. It's going to be so good. I'm going to move my coffee before the yarn falls in. Actually, I'm going to take a sip. Sorry. Okay. Now, this is a quick one. And y'all have seen this, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this, but I promised my husband I would make him ribbed bright socks. So you've seen these before, but these are the Lang yarns. And I'm going to make him ribbed socks with this at the top and sort of give him like a color blocked cuff. So color block cuff, and then do basically the heel and the foot and the toe. Maybe the toe will also be yellow. We'll see. And then the rest of the foot and everything will be black. This is the reinforcing thread inside of it, so I will reinforce the heels and the toes for sure, because that's where he always gets holes in his socks. So I'll definitely reinforce those, but yeah. So this is one that, like, if this is done the week after Christmas, he's not going to care. That might just be what it is. So I don't have as pressing on this one, like, anxiety as I do on some of these other things. I think if I can get these done, like, between Christmas and New Year's when I'm typically off, then that'll be nice. So, yeah. I won't go into too much of that because I know I've already sort of shared about that. Okay, next one. Now, going back to the Centro knitting machine, I have this yarn. It's called Halloween Twister. This came from Hobie, and I've mentioned a little bit before on like a yarn order that I did from Hobie for a vest that I made. I think that was episode 2. So when I ordered that, I wanted to make it worth it because I wasn't planning on ever really buying yarn from there again, or at least not for a long time. So I bought some really cool like gradient yarns. So this is called Twister Halloween. It's 55% cotton and 45% acrylic. It's a 250 gram ball with 1,094 yards. They call it a sport weight. Which is probably true. It's like a heavy fingering. What I want to do I want to try this on the central machine and see sort of the gauge of the fabric. I expect this will be very loose and I'm not going to like it, but I want to try it. If I don't like it or if it comes out too loose, then the next step will be to just hand knit something with this. This is going to be like a scarf or a shawl, and I love the gradient on this. Like, I think that is so cool. And candidly, like, I don't know. I don't think I want to even waste it on the central machine. I might just hand knit something. So I'm thinking like another tube scarf. There's a ton of yardage on this. So like, there's a lot. I do think it would also be fun to do tassels on this one. So like to start on the black end out here, and before I actually cast on something, to like do the tassels, sort of cut the length of the yarn for the tassels so that it matches the black that's on the beginning side. And then before I get to the end, which is like this white here in the middle, then before I get, fully use up all the yarn, leave a good bit of length to then do tassels on the opposite side. So like one side would have tassels in black and the other side would have tassels in like this white color. Like that would also be really cool. So yeah, so I might try the central machine. I don't know. I'm just worried it'd be like too loose and drapey and open and not look good. And I don't want to waste the yarn doing that if I'm already pretty hesitant about it. Yeah, I don't know. So anyway, I'm going to do that with this. If I just hand knit it and then I could get the right gauge that I want, I would still do like a tube scarf. But like I said, at the ends, instead of like pinching it in and then having like a pom-pom, I would leave it sort of flat at the bottom and then have the fringe, which I think would be really cool. So that's my goal for this one. I think that'll be fun. And I know these are Christmas gifts, but the person that this is for is like, I think they will like this. So that's that. That's the one. We'll see. We'll see what we decide on this. Okay, the next ones, plural, are actually hats. So again, I think I've kind of mentioned these like a while ago. And I said, oh, I'll come back to that. And then now I'm coming back to it. So Max the Knitter released a pattern called the Sk8er Hat. I'll put pictures up, but it is such a cool hat, and it harkens to like all of my, excuse me, I need more coffee apparently. It harkens to all of my like millennial sensibilities. So I'm gonna make several of these hats. This is probably one of the first patterns I've ever seen that I've wanted to make multiple times. Now, I did cast it on for a hat for my husband. His is in this like purple and black, and the reason for the purple is because he has a bike that's kind of the same shade of purple, so he thought it would be fun to have a hat that kind of matched his bike. Now, here's what I will say. This hat is knit from the top down. So you start with like this little magic loop cast on, and then you have to quickly increase. Here's what I will say to you. Invest in the right tools for small circumference knitting on this thing. I did not. I cast on, and it is a hot mess. It is not cute. My increases are weird. I already messed up the pattern. I finally went and invested in these DPNs, which I don't typically like double pointed needles, but like for this, I actually really recommend it. This was hard. This was hard to cast on. I even tried like a small circular, which I will probably use this once I get to the full circumference and I'm doing full circumference knitting. But needless to say, this was rough. Yeah, so it's a hot mess. I will be unraveling all of this and starting over because it's like not pretty. It is super tight. The color work's a mess. Like, ugh, not good. So I will be restarting this, but I'm not going to be restarting my husband's right away because I have 3 other ones that I want to make before Christmas. So I can talk about these because the people who I'm making them for already know that I'm making them. They also live in the desert, so I don't feel that bad about only getting them to them by Christmas because, like, it doesn't get as hot for them either, or as cold for them either. Okay, so I have, my cousin Art, and I, and then my brother Angel, we all grew up together, so we're like siblings because we were like around each other all the time. So he and his wife Fabi, and then their son Noah, they all live in a different state than us, and so we don't get to see them a lot. But we just grew up together. We have a lot of history, and like they're some of my favorite people in the world because they're probably like our closest, closest in age to us and in the same phase of life. And so we get to hang out with them rarely, so when we do, it's really great. And whenever I get the chance to like do something fun, I really enjoy doing that. So when I saw the Sk8er Hat by Max the Knitter, I was really excited because it's very much like all of our vibes. Like we're all into like a little more like emo skater culture, all of that stuff. So anyway, long story short, so I've already swatched for most of theirs. So this pink and black one will be the one I make for myself at some point. This is the one I'll make for my husband at some point. And then here's like the swatches that I started for them. So I'll start from the bottom. So the bottom one is Fabi. So she's got like these really pretty creams and neutrals up here. This middle one with like the very dark grayish blue and then the royal blue, that's Art. And then this one at the top, it will be black and gray, but this is Noah, and he actually wanted like something more gray. So I'll show you the yarns. So for Noah, we're gonna do that black color, which is a Knitpicks Hawthorne. The ball band is in here, but I'll put the specs on the page, on the screen, I mean. Let me see if I can see the color. It's looking like no. We'll just open it. Klamath Falls Tonal. 357 yards, 100 grams. It's a fingering weight, 100% fine superwash Highland wool, and 20% polyamide. This is their Hawthorne base, which is, I think, very popular of theirs. Again, this is like deep stash. I've had these for like years, so I'm loving that I'm getting to go stash diving. So this is the right one. Am I lying to you? I think I'm lying to you. I'm lying. Hold on. 1 second. Pause. I'm lying. His is actually this one. His is this one, which is a Queensland collection yarn. Rainbow Beach, pure Australian superwash wool, 100 grams, 328 yards, 100% wool. It says it's a sport, but I'm using it as a fingering weight. And the color Raven. Okay, I lied. That's his. His is like straight black. It's also the one I'm using for my husband's. So they will both have black in theirs to start. Boop. Okay, so that's that. The second one, because he wanted something that was a little more gray than this. And this one. This was originally going to be like a Frankie gray fibers color, but he wanted something that was a little more of like a solid gray. So I actually was able to pull this one out of my stash. This is Dylicious Yarns, which is my local yarn store's brand. Tempe Yarn and Fiber, they have their own yarn brand that they dye. So Dylicious Yarns, Desert Shades. Superwash merino wool and nylon, 80% wool, 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% 20% I'm guessing this is a 100-gram ball or skein, and it's a fingering weight. It's a heavy fingering weight though, which is why I'm okay using that Queensland collection, because that's listed as a sport, and this I think is almost like a heavy fingering, like borderline sport. It's got some thickness to it. It's a chunky yarn, a chunky fingering. So I'm not concerned about the gauge on those. I think they'll be great. I think they'll work fine. I'll just need to adjust to make sure it's the right size. But yeah, so he's going to do the black and then this gray, which is going to be cool. I really am excited for him for that. And then art. So this is the one for art. So this is like a dark grayish blue color. It almost looks black in this light, but if you can see, like, it actually has some tones of blue in it. And this is at Calumet Farm, or Calumet Falls, or whatever I just said. I'll put the text up. And then his contrast color is another Knitpicks Hawthorne. And this is like this royal blue color, which, let's see if we can find the color. This is Delphinium Kettle. So it means it's kettle dyed. So this is the color Delphinium. There's all sorts of fluff. So this is that. So this is like very cool. Very cool royal blue. It's going to be really pretty, I think, for him. And then Fabi has a much more, like, this really pretty neutral palette. So these, again, when I say I went in my stash, y'all, this is like deep, 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 deep. So, let me just put this out. These are the same yarn. It's Veil by Mountaintop, or it's Classic Elite Yarns Mountaintop. The base is Veil. This also went out of business, and I think this stuff went out of business like maybe even like a decade ago, like, or more, or less. I don't know. It's been a while. Classic Elite Yarns went out of business a long time ago. So, like, again, when I tell you I'm going stash diving, like, I'm not kidding. This is 70% baby alpaca, 30% bamboo viscose, and it's all naturally undyed fibers. This is a 50-gram ball, 236 yards. So the thing with this is I'm not 1,000% sure I'm gonna have enough yardage. I'll have to go in the pattern and check. Luckily, she's probably got the smallest head out of all of them. My cousin Art has a big head, and he knows this. So I'll have to make, like, he has plenty of yarn. I'm not worried about him. But for Fabi, you know, hers is like, she has 250-gram balls, which means like 100-gram ball, which in a fingering weight would typically be plenty for a hat. But because it's color work, I don't know. So I will have to see if this is going to be enough. If it's not, I might have to modify it a little bit so that the folded brim part, the part that you're not going to see that's going to be like on the inside, is another really soft yarn that, like, won't matter if it doesn't match, because it's going to be invisible. It's going to be against her head all the time. So that's TBD. We'll see. But at least for the outside colorwork portion and the brim that you can see, it'll be this yarn. So that'll be fun. Okay. And then, I have this fluffy yarn in here, and I don't know what it is or why I have it. Whatever. Sure, it'll present an opportunity at some point. So those are those three. My husband and I, like I said, I'll make one for him in that purpley lavender yarn. This is the one I'm making for myself, which I believe this is a, if memory serves, this is Lolabean sock yarn. Oh, I'll just pull it out. Merino sock. 465 yards per 100 grams, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, in the color pink granite. So this is also very old in my stash. I bought this at a local yarn store. I feel like maybe in, where was that? I don't even know. But it was a long time ago. So, yeah, this is their pink granite in their fingering sock. It's an oldie. I've had this in my stash for a while also. So that'll be mine. Mine is not pressing. My husband's is not pressing. The other 3 hats are. I would like to have them done by Christmas, so that's the goal. Yeah, so they have Christmas presents. So that's the hats. That's those hats, I should say. Okay. Now, is that everything except the sweater? Okay. Quick coffee break. Ready, break. The last gift is my big whale of a gift because it's a full-on sweater. Like, I think I'm Santa and I have elves or something. I don't know. I have been wanting to make, and I can say this because I'm pretty positive my dad doesn't watch the whole episode. So, just gonna throw it out there. I have been wanting to make my dad a sweater, like an outerwear sweater, not like a sweatshirt, but like something he can wear over other things. He lives further north, so he lives in an actually cold climate where it snows and stuff. I've been wanting to make him a sweater for a really long time. But he's the type of guy who like has everything that he could need and want. Like, he's just, and then he's like me, where he likes very specific things. He's difficult to shop for, as am I. Like, I fully admit I'm hard to shop for. People have a hard time shopping for me because I'm very picky. I like things that I like, and then I'm very sensory too. There's certain fibers and things and textures that kind of stress me out. So anyway, he's like me in a lot of ways, or I'm like him, I guess, because he's my dad, right? But I've been wanting to make him a sweater for a really long time. I'm hoping this is the year. I bought the yarn for the sweater because I've known which yarn I wanted to use. I did some research and I knew a while ago. But I bought the yarn for this probably a year and a half ago, thinking that maybe I would make it for his birthday. And then I was like, okay, Christmas. And then it was like, well, maybe Father's Day. Yeah, year and a half later, I still haven't done it. So this is my goal. This is like, if I could get this done this year, like, it would be epic. So the yarn that I know I will be using is Berroco Vintage. The reason I picked this yarn is because it's machine washable. So I don't expect he'll have to wash this much in general because it's going to be more of an outer garment. But if he ever needed to or wanted to, like, he's a very clean person. He likes to have clean stuff. So whereas I don't necessarily wash all my wool garments often because I know that the inherent properties of wool, the fact that you don't need to, he may want to wash it more just because that's like his mentality. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So in anticipation of that, I wanted to get something that was machine washable. And so Berroco Vintage is a, let me see, where's the makeup? It is a 52% acrylic, 40% wool, and 8% nylon yarn. It's considered a worsted weight yarn. My experience, I can typically get a DK weight gauge with it. So it says worsted, but like I can usually get it away with a DK. It is machine washable. This is the color Indigo. And it has 218 yards per 100 grams gain. So this is the color Indigo. As you can see, like, it is very much like an indigo, sort of navy blue color. It is beautiful. It's very drapey. It's very soft yarn. You can kind of see, like, it's just split. It's gorgeous. It's got a little bit of a halo, but not a ton. So, it's very soft. It's very nice yarn. If you are looking for a machine washable blend, it's really not bad. It's a good yarn. It's also a little more cost efficient. So when you're buying like a sweater's quantity, if that's another thing you're looking for, that's just something to consider. So I have right here, I think I bought 8. I could just count them. Jeez. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I bought 9 or 10. Maybe 8. I don't know. I think 9 or 10. I don't know. Anyway, I did the math and I bought enough to make sure that I had plenty to buy him a sweater and I wasn't going to be playing yarn chicken. Especially because I knew it'd probably take me a while to cast this on, and by the time I had to go back and buy more yarn, the dye lots would have changed and the color wouldn't have matched and I would have hated my life. So I bought like a surplus of yarn for this just to be sure I would have enough. I do have 2 patterns in mind. So, the first one is called, I believe it's called the Stamford sweater by the Knit Purl girl. By the Knit Purl girl, Stamford sweater. It does have, I'll put a picture up. It does have like a button placket, just like a half button placket, basically. I want that feature for him specifically because I want to make sure he has enough flexibility to like wear something more open, to be able to close it up if it gets cold. Like I wanted to give him those options. So, that's the first one. That's like my simple, straightforward, no frills, like I know he'll wear it, I know he'll like it kind of thing. Now, I have a second one that I think personally I like more because maybe it's my aesthetic. I'm not sure. So the other one I'm looking at is called the Hairy Adult sweater, which it's spelled hairy like the name, Harry, not hairy like someone's hairy. So just to be clear, this is by Liudmyla Babintseva. So sorry if I butchered your name. I'm sure I did. Now, the difference with this is it still has the button placket at the front. The neckline, it's a little more of a higher neckline, which I could modify if I decide I don't want that. I like the construction of this a little more. It's got that like saddle shoulder thing, but I really love the cable detailing, and it only goes down the length of the button placket, which is about maybe like 3/4. That to me is like chef's kiss. I love it. It's so simple. It's so understated. It is not in your face all over cables. It's like just this little really cute motif up at the top, and it integrates with that button placket. I want to make that one. That's the one I want to make. Now, the dilemma I'm having is like, do I think my dad would wear it? Don't know. Now, I could be like a brat and just ask him, but the trade-off is if I ask him, then he knows I'm making him a sweater. I'm trying to. And then if I don't finish it, he's going to know I didn't finish. So I'm in this dilemma of like, okay, do I bring it up and get his hopes up, then not deliver? Or do I just make a decision and pray that he loves it if I get it done? That's where I'm at. So like that is probably my white whale of the season, is trying to get these other things done and then also trying to get a sweater done, like a full sweater, a full man size sweater. And like my dad is tall. He's not like, it's going to be a bigger sweater. Like men's sweaters are just bigger. They're just big. So it's like, okay, I got to be like fully committed. It's got to be like the only thing I work on for a little bit. So yeah. So that's where I'm at. I really want to make the one with the cables. I just gotta decide. I might have to like go creep on my dad on Instagram and see photos of him and see if he's ever worn anything like that. But yeah, I think he'll like the color. So the reason I picked this color, actually, my dad is a huge Dallas Cowboys fan and a huge New York Yankees fan. And we are from New Mexico originally, so everyone's like, how did that happen? And I asked him one time, I was like, Dad, you have such random taste in teams. And like NBA with Chicago Bulls. So he grew up during a time where those three teams were the pinnacle of their respective sports fields. And in the region that we lived in, we didn't have cable or anything. So the only thing they ever got on TV were like the big teams, which happened to be like the New York Yankees, the Chicago Bulls, and the Dallas Cowboys. So because those were the teams that they got to watch, those were the teams he eventually just became a big fan of. And he's a diehard fan. You have to be ready to be a Cowboys fan. I said it. I'm sorry. Anyway, so because the New York Yankees and the Dallas Cowboys both have like that darkish blue color, I thought this would be fun. I thought this would be a fun color for him because it kind of ties into both, like, two of his favorite sports teams. So he's gonna see so mad. He hears what I said. Just kidding, Dad. The Cowboys are great. Okay. That is it. That is the bulk of my Christmas in July stuff. If I get all of this done, I may try and get a couple things sewn for some other people who don't tend to wear knitwear. I may sew them some stuff, but I'm not putting that pressure on myself yet. I'm going to see how far I can get on these Christmas gifts in the next few months, and then reevaluate maybe like, in October, like 3-month halfway check-in, and kind of see where we're at, and then go from there. That's my plan. All right. Quick check-in on other stuff. That's the end of the Christmas in July. If that was the only reason you wanted to watch today, that's totally fine. No problem. Don't feel like you have to stay. I do have a couple updates on a test knit, on a sweater I'm making, and on a new book that I found at the airport. Plus my I was about to say my fleur de lis. No, my tour de fleece. Tour de fleece spinning. So if you're interested in any of that, let's jump in. So, tour de fleece. A while back on another episode, I showed some products that I bought at Flagwool, which is the knitting fiber festival. I shouldn't say knitting. It's like a fiber festival that we have up in Flagstaff. While I was there, I was able to pick up a big bat of like llama, alpaca, a little bit of sheep wool, thin sheep wool, I think is what it was called. I was able to pick that up while I was there. It's all undyed, it was all natural, but I have gone ahead and spun it into some yarn. So if you go back a couple more episodes and I talk about tour de fleece, that was dangerous. You'll see that I did a little bit of a spinning video to kind of show y'all like what the spinning is like, how I prep, how I use the wheel. So that's another episode. That might be the last episode I did, actually. I believe it is. So the one right before this one was the tour de fleece, and at the very end of the video I did like a little like snapshot of the spinning process. It actually showed you the spinning wheel and pulling the fluff onto the wheel and how it works. So if you're interested in that, start with the Flagwool episode and then see the Tour de Fleece episode, and then now is the final product. So this is the yarn. So this is, as you can see, like if I let go of this, it's just hanging straight. It's not kinking up on itself, which is good. That's what you want. So if I fold this in half, it doesn't try to fold in on itself. Like if it was over plied, it would start like raveling like this. But the fact that it's not doing that, and when I let it hang flat, it's just chilling. That's called balanced yarn. That means that there's not too much twist in it that is trying to like spin and like release that tension in on itself. So this is still on the bobbin, obviously, but once, see how it did that? Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. So if I let go and then see how it goes back on itself. So what I will do is I will take this off of the bobbin. Let's see. Yeah, see, so it does. It still has a little bit of twist and tension in it, right? Which is super normal. That's not too bad, actually. It's pretty good. So what I will do is I will take this off and I'll put it on the Nitty Knotty, which is that big PVC pipe contraption I showed y'all last time. And I'm going to give this a wash and snap it and kind of release all that tension. And then this will be like this really beautiful, soft, neutral yarn. And we'll see what we make with it. It's definitely a little crunchy. It's a natural fiber. It's going to be a little more scratchy, a little more crunchy on this. But again, that doesn't bother me. I just don't mind. I actually think this would be really pretty as some mittens. Like some really cool textured mittens. That is where I'm at right now with this. I think that'd be really nice. This came out to like a fingering or a sport weight yarn, at least on the bobbin right now. Once I wash it, it might plump up a little bit. And it'll likely soften up a little bit as well. And so at that point, you know, I'll determine what I want to make. But there she is, all spun up. That big old thing of fleece. Here it is. That's all of it, pretty much. Yeah. So yeah. So next I'm going to start tackling some of the other fibers that I showed y'all last time. I want to do the one that had the what's the Shiniko confetti. I think I want to do that one next. That's like the next one I would love to do. So that is that. There's my Tour de Fleece update. Have I been spinning every day? No, I don't have time. But I've been spinning more than I was before, so it has at least reignited some excitement about spinning. So that's cool. Okay, so that is the spinning update. Now, on to my test knit. I'm hating my life choices right now a little bit. So, I signed up for a test knit with Maya Tinks. She's no qualms about the pattern. I did not realize that in order to get gauge, I was going to have to use a US 1 needle. That's this. That's like a toothpick. So, you know, I've got the back portions. So this will have like a ribbon or something in it. There's like this keyhole. This ribbon will go through the front, and then it kind of sits up here. So this is the back right now. So as you can see, like the back is started. It's not very far along. It's taking a bit, not gonna lie. I have to have this done by August. So, yeah. Here's my dilemma. The yarn keeps sliding off my needles a little, which is problem number one. It's a pure silk. It's Knitting for All of pure silk, so it is pure silk. It is very like plant. It's not plant-based, but it's like not. It's not sticky like wool. Like wool will catch and kind of grips onto the needles. This is not. That's my first problem. I keep like losing stitches. It's hard for me to keep these on. So my first thought on this is that maybe I need to use a wool needle. Wool. I'm tired. Maybe I need to use a wood needle so that they don't slip off. But I don't actually even know if they make wooden needles in a size 1 because I feel like they would break. So that's like something I have to figure out. But the second thing I'm running into is these needles are cheap needles that I bought. Like, I think I got them at Joann or Michael's. Like, they're not great. So I don't know if you can see. See that little indentation right here? Maybe you can see it if I turn it. See how that's like dented in? So in order to get this cable attached into the hollow tube of the knitting needle, they like pinched it in. And so every time I try to like bring my needles on, it keeps like getting stuck on here. So see how that just like bunches up and then I'm having to like shove it in? That is driving me crazy. Like, I am just like, oh, these needles. So in general, I think the needles are really bugging me. So I'm kind of considering two things. I have a US2, which is one needle size up, a US2 Chowgu needle, which Chowgu needles are my favorite. They're great. I love them, and they're so smooth and they're so great. I'm genuinely considering just bumping up to a US2. My gauge would be a little bit off, and I'm kind of willing to just accept that. But on the flip side, it's a test knit, so I'm trying not to be a jerk. So my other option is I will not find this at a Michael's or anything like that. I would have to go to my local yarn shop, one of my local yarn shops, and try to find a wood needle, or at least a US one that doesn't have this stupid freaking divot in it. I don't know, friends. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about it. I still have to knit the entire rest of this garment. This is all I have in the front. The neck bit. So I don't know what to do. I'm probably gonna have to go to my local yarn store and like try and find a needle that works better for this, because to knit this whole thing on these needles, and then afterward I'm gonna throw these freaking needles away because they suck. Anyway, that's where I'm at. This has been a struggle. This has been a real struggle. I do think part of it is, I do think a lot of it actually is the needles. It's been hard. It's been hard to get past those needles, but anyway. The pattern itself is really fun, actually. Like, it's very repetitive. It's easy to remember what you need to do. It's very nice. I have no complaints really on the pattern, other than it's like a tiny gauge, but I knew that going into it, and that's my own fault for not realizing that, like, I'd potentially be having to knit this on a US one. So that's on me. Anyway, the yarn, I've mentioned this before. I don't know how I feel about this knitting for olive yarn. It's very splitty. I tried a different yarn by Lana Grossa, and I talk about this in the swatches episode, which I believe is episode 3. That yarn is actually, for some reason, plied a little bit tighter, and I found it when I swatched with that yarn versus this yarn. I actually like that yarn more, and it's called Lana Grossa Setapura, which is like also pure silk, so it's almost the exact same composition, yardage, etc. of this Knitting for Olive pure silk. But I like that one more, and I'm planning to make another top with that, so that's a whole thing. But anyway, so yeah, I will say, like, I'm struggling to get this done. I will get it done because I've committed to doing so, but like, it's been rough. It's been a little rough. Still on the first ball. So anyway, that's that status. I need to be better about picking test knits. Anyway, so we'll see. Hopefully I'll feel better about that after I get a better needle. Okay, separately, completely different experience. Here we are. This is not a test knit. I cast this on a whim because I have no chill. And, no regrets. No regrets. Okay, so my local yarn shop called the Yarn Parlor, I went in and was able to track down this really cool yarn. It's cotton and I believe alpaca blend. The yarn itself is called, it's Illimani Sabri II. I've talked about it a bunch. I'll put the specs up, but like, y'all don't want to hear more. It's cotton and baby alpaca. It's more of a DK worsted weight yarn. So I'm making the Alfie sweater by This.Bird.Knits. I am actually almost done. So, excuse me, I have finished the body. So if you can see, here's the collar and all of the body down to the ribbing. Now the caveat to this is it's not blocked yet, so it looks kind of tight and bunched up, but once it blocks, it's going to relax a lot. So here's my dilemma on this one. I am working on the sleeves. Now, when I originally started this, I actually was like, oh, I'm going to make this short sleeved because, you know, it's cotton and alpaca and I think it'd be nice for the summer. I've already worn it without the sleeves like a couple times because it's so cozy. And let me tell you, like, I'm kind of thinking about just doing the sleeves full length. I kind of love this as a sweater, not just like a top. So I have started one sleeve. It's on the needles, and I'm just like, I don't know. I have a whole ball left, plus a little bit more. So this is what I have left of my 4th ball. And then I still have the whole 5th ball left, which would, I'm pretty positive, give me like normal length sleeves between these two things. So my dilemma is this. I live in Phoenix. It's hot. Do I leave it short sleeved so that I can wear it more, potentially? Or do I say screw it and just make the long sleeves and be able to wear it and be super cozy in it in the winter? That's where I'm at. That's my dilemma. That's my second dilemma. It's a good dilemma to have because I'm almost done. I don't know. I just don't know. What I'm thinking I will do, I think I will knit the sleeves as far as I would if it was short sleeved. I'll put the sleeve on some waste yarn, and then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a full block on it. Wet block it, fully wet block it. And then put it on and see how it feels after being wet blocked. And like, if it's still kind of cozy or if it's airy and loosens up a bit, and then decide how I want to finish the sleeves. I think that's going to give me the best knowledge and information, plus inform how much the yarn is going to grow lengthwise, because I do think it's going to grow quite a bit. And that way I'll know like how much yarn I'm really going to need for the sleeves. So I was thinking about this all last night. Like I couldn't sleep. I was thinking about it. So I think that's my plan. That's like my game plan, because I really don't want to mess this up. I want this to be the sweater that I'm expecting it to be. I have so many like hopes and aspirations sitting in this thing right now. So that is my plan, because I really want this to be right. So that's where I'm at with this. Like I said, it's almost done, but I'm just like trying to decide how I want to finish it. So the pattern calls for the sleeves to be basically constructed full length, and then you do like some quick increases at the end to do more of a balloon sleeve. And I would likely follow that, although I would do a deeper cuff, like deeper this way, like lengthwise, and probably balloon it up here. I don't love a super drapey sleeve. Again, it's back to like sensory things that I have. I don't like sleeves dangling and all that. That's why I did short sleeves on my Memory of Lace test knit that I spoke about previously. So I tend to either do short sleeves or I tend to do tight sleeves, because I don't like loose drapey sleeves. It just stresses me out. So, yeah, I would modify it a little bit if I did the full length sleeve. I would still do the balloon, but I would do a deeper cuff, and I would do the balloon decreases a little bit higher up so that the tighter portion here at my wrist would be tight. So, we will see. I don't know. If I make it short sleeve, I would just like leave it the width of the opening that it already is, and I would just do a simple ribbed cuff at the sleeve. And again, that's going to depend on, after I wet block it, how much that grows. So I definitely don't want it to be like down here. If I make it short sleeve, I want it to be like right middle of my bicep. So that's the goal. So yeah, I'm very excited about this. I love this. It is a mostly cotton weight. So like it's got some heft to it. Like it's a little bit heavy. I don't mind that. Again, I kind of like it. It's very nice. It's very comfy. I've worn it. I've already worn this. Like, I was sitting on the couch the other day working on my test knit, and the fan was on, the air conditioning was on, it got a little chilly, and I just like threw this on. Just like, you know what, I'm just gonna put it on. And I had like needles dangling off of me. I don't care. It was very nice. So I am excited about this. I loved this pattern. It was super easy to follow. I'm a big fan. It's really pretty. So this is not a test knit. This is just something I cast on because, like I said, I have no chill and I wanted a summer sweater. Because why not? So that will likely be done by the next time I film, if I can make up my mind. Okay. What else? Okay. So we were in Ohio. We got to travel and see family, which is amazing. We had so much fun. I came back a little early because of work. I just started a new job recently and didn't have a ton of PTO. So, it is what it is. I'm in a very corporate job setting, so I've sort of accepted some of that. But all that to say, on my way back, my Kindle died. And I was like, well, that's stupid. On me for not charging it. So as I was flying back, I was like, well, I have my knitting, but it'd be nice if I had something to read, because it's a long flight, and I had like a 2.5 hour layover in Austin, and so I was like, man, it's gonna be a long day. So when I was in Austin, I was walking around, and I was, like I said, I was kind of bored, and I walked into this little bookshop that they had in the airport, and I found this really interesting book. So this is called 4 Red Sweaters by Lucy Adlington. Apparently she also wrote a book called The Dressmakers of Auschwitz. I have not read that, but this is, I thought, really interesting because it's basically, the description is Powerful True Stories of Women and the Holocaust, but it centers around these like knit sweaters. So as you can see on here, there's this like swatch, and I guess there's like these 4 sweaters, and they're not all hand knit, but there is some hand knitting involved in this, and how hand knitting helped some of these women survive through concentration camps. I'm not that far in, so I only got to this point on the plane, which is like page 64. It's a little heavier, and I don't know why I didn't really anticipate this. It's definitely heavier than I thought it was going to be. There's a lot more about these girls and their life and their backgrounds and like stuff that they were dealing with. And I've read a ton of history and a ton of books on the Holocaust and on this stuff. I've actually even been to Germany. I've been to Berlin. We did a free walking tour, or a walking tour. Maybe it wasn't free. I think we paid for it, but we took like a little shuttle out to Sachsenhausen, which is actually mentioned in this book. It was a concentration camp, and that was like one of the most sort of mind-shattering experiences I've ever been on. Anyway, there's so much more I could say about all this, but the point of my story today is that this book is very gripping. It is very good so far. I did have to stop reading it on the plane because I was starting to get emotional. They talk about the, what was it called? When a lot of people in Germany were sending their children off, basically in the hopes that they would get out and survive. I'm forgetting the word, but it's mentioned in here. Kinder something. It's heavy. It's heavy, but super interesting. I have not, like I said, I've only gotten to page 64. I don't really know how it's going to end or where it's going. I do think that as you get further in, they start talking a little bit more about like how the sweaters relate to them. And then they talk a little bit more as like these experiences as these young ladies kind of go through everything they're going through. So I do think it's just so interesting. Yeah. It was like the last book in the shop of this title, and I don't know. It's very good. I'm very interested. I will say, like, don't read this if you're a crier. Don't read it in public. I was definitely getting choked up on the plane and had to put it down, which worked out. I sat next to this really beautiful lady, and we ended up chatting for a while after that, because I was like, oh my god, and I kind of put the book down, and she's like, are you okay? And then that led to us like talking for the rest of the flight, which was nice. But anyway, so far I recommend this. I'm on page 64. It is very gripping. It is very surreal to be reading something like this now, especially given the climate of where we are in the country and the world. It's very relevant, I think. So I highly recommend it. If you're interested, I think it's cool because it's also slightly focused on like knitting and sweaters and making. There's like that added layer to people who are into this craft. So yeah, like I said, four red sweaters by Lucy Adlington. Pretty good. So I will let you know once I finish this and get to the end. I'll give you like a final synopsis. But so far, it's pretty good. It's based on true stories. So that's that. It's a good little book. That is it. We are at an hour and a half. I'm so sorry. That was wild. That went fast. But I will wrap it up for today. Thank you all for being here. Yeah, we'll talk again soon. Thanks, everybody. Bye.